Okay, so we're trying to add two rational expressions here. And the first thing I notice is unfortunately my denominators are not the same. So I need to do something to make them the same. And if we recall, when we would add 1/2 and 1/3, not multiply, excuse me, add 1/2 and 1/3, to get a common denominator, we have to multiply each fraction by 1 disguised as something else. So we'd multiply this fraction by 3/3 because that's still just the number 1. I multiply this fraction by 2/2 because again that's the number 1. This becomes 3/6, which is still equal to 1/2. This becomes 2/6, which is still equal to 1/3, and then we get 5/6 as an answer. So we're going to use that idea to help us figure out what to do with this much stranger looking problem we have here, but we'll leave that idea kind of up floating over here. So what would we do? Well, we're going to get a common denominator. And so since my denominators have nothing in common now, being that this is a plus 2 and a minus 5, they're not the same. It's exactly the same as having 2 and 3. They're not similar, even though they both have a in them. So we're going to multiply this one, like we did over here, by 3/3. We'll multiply this one by a minus 5 over a minus 5. And we'll be careful and put parentheses around that. And we'll multiply this one over here. We did this one by 2/2, so we'll multiply this one by a plus 2 over a plus 2. And there we are. Now that's our basic beginning. Now here we just did 1 times 3. So we'll go ahead and do 3 times a minus 5, which is 3a minus 15. I went ahead and distributed that. Plus, now I'll distribute 8a plus 16. So my step I took right here is I actually, I'm going to write that down, distributed. Then my denominator is a minus 5 in parentheses times a plus 2 in parentheses, just like my denominator here became 3 times 2, which is 6, and 3 times 2, which is 6. So that times that. Now I'm not going to go ahead and distribute the denominators because eventually I'm going to want to factor to see if anything cancels. So it would seem to be a waste of my time to multiply my denominators together. Now we're going to combine our numerators, and we've got 11a plus 1 in our numerator, and over a minus 5 and a plus 2. And the only thing we want to look at factoring, we can factor the numerator is 1. That's not really helpful in this case, so I'm going to be all done. And that's my answer. And you'll notice it's not very difficult. It's pretty straightforward. But the key here is what I've written here in green is actually taking and go back here and distributing the numerators and then moving forward.